Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So, have you ever looked down at your plate and wondered if the food you're about to eat is actually doing anything for your energy on a really foundational biological level? Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating ancient world of yogic nutrition. We're going to demystify these age-old prescriptions and figure out how to practically apply them to our crazy, fast-paced modern lives. It's going to be a great journey, so let's get right into it. To help guide us, we're drawing from a truly unique source today, Osman, the Blind Yogi. Osman is a master-level energy healer, and he actually specializes in terminal illnesses and critical care recovery using telepathic capabilities. He achieved his first state of Samadhi when he was just 19 years old, and he's bringing over 50 years of continuous, super rigorous practice to the table. And there's a really incredible detail here. Osman has been permanently blind since May 2023. But because he had normal eyesight before that, he actually uses his vivid visual memories and sensory references combined with strict quantum energy principles to teach us how to treat food. To him, it's not just about calories, it's a vital life force. In his scientific framework, optimizing this bioenergy actually yields a staggering 90% success rate in reversing severe ailments. Okay, real quick, but absolutely crucial point before we go any further. We really need to cover this medical disclaimer. Everything we're talking about today regarding Osman's teachings involves all natural, subtle energy therapies. These are fantastic for enhancing your overall well-being, but they absolutely do not replace professional medical care. If you're dealing with any sort of acute illness, severe pathology, or medical condition, you must go and consult a licensed medical professional right away. This explainer is strictly educational so we can understand these really interesting ancient perspectives. All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with the life force in food, then talk about the famous 90-minute cooking rule, how to adapt for plants, meat, and geography, outline the 21st century yogic diet, and finally, how we go about merging ancient and modern sciences. Okay, let's jump straight into part one, the life force in food. So in the yogic sciences, food is seen as way more than just physical matter or fuel. Osman talks about this concept called intrinsic subtle life force energy. Basically, this is the natural, living vitality that's present in raw, wholesome, freshly sourced foods right before any processing or preservation happens. From this viewpoint, the whole point of eating isn't just to stop your stomach from growling. You're actually trying to transfer that living, vibrant energy directly into your own body. But as we're going to see in a second, that energy is incredibly fragile. Which brings us to part two, and this one might really surprise you. The 90-minute cooking rule. Literally 90 minutes. That is the magic window. Or honestly, it's more like a strict scientific countdown according to these ancient practices. Osman teaches that the very second your food is cooked, the clock starts ticking. You have exactly 90 minutes to eat it. Once that hour and a half is up, that intrinsic, subtle life force energy we just talked about is completely gone. Just to put this into perspective, think about the ideal life cycle of your meal. You start with the raw harvested state. That's when the energy is at its absolute peak. Then you prepare and cook it fresh. From there, you've got to consume it inside that golden 90-minute window. Post 90 minutes, it's energetically depleted. So what does this actually mean for us today? Well, it's kind of a huge blow to our love of convenience, because it means absolutely no leftovers. No way. You shouldn't be meal prepping a massive batch of rice on Sunday to eat on Thursday. The traditional yogic prescription says you prepare exactly what you need for that one specific meal, and you eat it right away. Now, you're probably wondering about food storage, right? Osman draws a very hard line here. On one side, you have what he calls vitality destroyers. We're talking chemical preservatives and those heavily processed, prepackaged frozen meals. Those literally strip the food of any subtle energy entirely. But there is a little bit of flexibility. If you take whole, fresh, natural foods and put them in the fridge just to extend their shelf life a bit, or if you freeze a whole natural food while it's still full of vitality, that's actually acceptable. If you thaw it out and it still looks vibrant and green, it holds onto some of that energy. But the gold standard, fresh from the market, cooked today, eaten today, for sure. Now let's move to part three. A lot of people ask, isn't yogic nutrition strictly vegan? Let's unpack that with plants, meat, and geography. So Osman points out something really interesting. The Ayurvedic sciences, which heavily push for whole food, plant-based diets, they actually originated in lush, ancient agricultural societies. Their culture naturally leaned toward plants because, frankly, plants were everywhere. But what if you're living in Iceland or Greenland or the middle of a harsh desert? Try growing a lush vegetable garden there. It's basically impossible. Osman is very pragmatic about this. He neutrally explains that in extreme geographic climates, relying on an omnivore or even a carnivore diet is just necessary. The yogic principles are designed to adapt directly to the reality of your environment. And here is where it gets super fascinating. Osman says that there is absolutely life force energy in animals too. But, and this is a massive but, to actually get that subtle energy, the rules are intensely strict. The animal has to be treated with total dignity and slaughtered following really rigorous hygiene regulations. And, exactly like the plants, the meat has to be cooked completely fresh and eaten almost immediately. You follow those rules and you can absolutely draw vital energy from animal sources. Okay, let's bring it all together for part 4, the 21st century yogic diet. How do we do this today? For modern living, Osman gives us a fantastic rule of thumb. Go for an 80-20 split. The goal is to get 80% of your food from natural, wholesome, living sources, whether that's plants or animals, depending on where you live. The critical takeaway here is to actively cut down on processed meats, heavily processed veggies, and especially those new synthetic lab-grown foods. Because they don't have a natural organic origin, they literally contain zero subtle life force energy. It's just dead calories. And to really turbocharge that 80% natural intake, Osman brings in a specific recommendation from modern science. And that magic number is 30. Modern nutrition science recommends, and this yogic approach totally backs it up, eating a minimum of 30 different plant-based, wholesome products every single week. It is all about variety. You can't just eat the exact same spinach and chicken every day and expect your energy to thrive. You need a massive mix: fruits, nuts, lentils, grains, veggies. Mixing it up like this ensures your body is soaking in a huge, diverse spectrum of life force energies. Which perfectly sets up our final section, part 5. Merging ancient and modern. Osman is super clear on this. Do not do this blindly. You have got to balance the ancient wisdom with modern-day tools. Go to your doctor, get your blood work done. Maybe your diagnostics show you need way more omega-3s or a ton of antioxidants. Find out what your specific body actually needs. And I love this part. He even suggests using modern AI, like free versions of ChatGPT or Claude, to brainstorm your meals. Tell the AI what your doctor said and ask it to help you hit that 30-plant variety goal. It's the perfect blend of ancient energy science and cutting-edge tech, as long as you're keeping your medical professional in the loop to stay safe. So, I'm going to leave you with this one slightly provocative question. How much life force is actually left in your next meal? Are you just eating for convenience, leaning on the microwave and the freezer? Or are you chasing that fresh, immediate vitality? It's definitely a challenging way to look at food, but it might just be the thing that completely revolutionizes your energy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer today. Take a peek inside your pantry this week, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.